People show up at a club because they want confidence. Who provides it to them? We do.
You have 1 year to serve in this role. What is your vision for Toastmasters?
I see something that's broken. Let me do something about it.
You get caught up and you do things and you fall in love with Toastmasters or service or military. And taking the pause to have a conversation with a friend, asking you simple questions of why, can be really meaningful.
I'm selfish. I'm selfish because helping you makes me feel good. I'm selfish because when I see you succeed, and I know I had a small part of that, it makes me feel good. So call me selfish, but that is why I serve, is because seeing you succeed, helping other people succeed, that makes me feel good.
Welcome to Speak Arizona, the podcast for professionals ready to elevate their communication and leadership skills. Whether you're speaking to a crowd or leading a team, you'll get practical tips, expert insights, and inspiring stories. Join us as we dive into the craft of powerful communication and authentic leadership. Speak Arizona is powered by District 3 Toastmasters. Subscribe and take the next step to becoming the speaker and leader you want to be.
Welcome to Speak Arizona, a podcast dedicated to empowering you to find your voice. Hi, I'm your host, Rupesh Parbhoo. I help technical experts upgrade from being the smartest person in the room to the most influential, one conversation at a time. Toastmasters International has spent more than a century of helping people become better speakers and leaders. But the way people communicate today is changing faster than ever. Podcasts, video, AI, virtual communities, short-form content, there are new expectations around authenticity, relevance, and reach. So the question is no longer just, what has Toastmasters been? The question is, what does Toastmasters need to become? Our guest today, Stefano McGhee, International President-elect of Toastmasters, is stepping into that challenge. After more than 20 years of service to the organization, he now takes on the responsibility of helping it lead into its next chapter. In this episode, we'll talk about the thread of service that runs throughout his life, why he chose to run for president now, and the vision he carries for keeping Toastmasters thriving in this changing world. Because leadership at this level is not just about stewarding a 100-year legacy. It's about deciding how that legacy grows, adapts, and stays meaningful for the next generation. Stefano, welcome to Speak Arizona. We're so excited to have you.
Such a pleasure to be here with you, Rupesh. It's a pleasure.
Well, thanks for coming. Stefano, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us your story.
Wow. That's a big open-ended question, Rupesh. Hi, I'm Stefano McGhee. I live in Boston, Massachusetts right now. Have one child, one dog, and one wife, not in that order. And I do a little bit of everything. Toastmasters is a life-consuming hobby for me. Outside of Toastmasters, I work in technology, like the people that you're trying to help. So I hope to learn something from this podcast as well. Senior Director of Technology Operations at Harvard. I also do some flying, boating, motorcycling, help run a yacht club, a little bit of everything on the side. So, lots of free time. That's a little bit about me.
I love that. And I think all the Toastmasters listening, although we have a broader audience in Toastmasters, can really relate to this hobby that just takes over. I think that's so true.
Right on.
And I loved how you were sharing how you fly, you do yachting, you have a family, you're at Harvard, you're in technology, you're in Toastmasters and leadership. And as I was getting to know more about you, when we found out you were coming, I started reading your articles and just different things you put out there. And I learned that there's this thread of service that has ran through your life. It started young in the military, and then 20 years later, you've been serving Toastmasters, but also at Harvard and all these different things. So I wanted to start the conversation there. Can you tell me a little bit about what service has meant to you and why that is one of the threads that runs through your life and your career?
I think there's two parts of it that are intertwined. So when I ran for the board of Toastmasters, then again for second vice president, I got asked that question a lot. Why are you doing this? And my first impulse was, I don't know. I don't know what compels me to do this. So I had to sit down with some close friends and family and try to tease this apart. And what we were able to pinpoint it back to was many years ago, I got selected to go to the United States Air Force Academy. And I remember as a freshman, you're not treated well as a military academy freshman. We'll just leave it at that. But I remember that we got to a point where things were really in a really bad place. And I was in a really bad place. And I said, geez, what have I gotten myself into? And my roommate said, if we ever get past this, I can't wait to do this to the next group of people. And I said, I will never do this to anybody else. And there has to be a better way. And I think that's where it began was there's always a better way. When you encounter adversity, you have to find a better way. And I think that's where the service part came in is I've always encountered people that say, I don't like how this is running. I don't like how this is going. I'm one of those people too. Mm-hmm. But what separates some of us is that some of us say, well, I'm going to do something about that. Let me see if I can work within the system to do something about that to make it better. Or at the very least, be able to find out the why and then turn around and explain that to the people that don't understand how we got to where we got to today. And I've learned that is apparently a rare commodity in our world is someone that says, hey, I see something that's broken. Let me do something about it. And if I can't, let me explain to folks why that can't happen. So that's really been driving me. That's how I got to where I am today is understand what the problems are, help make things better. That's it.
It's as simple as that.
As simple as that.
I love what you said about when your friends or family asked you about why are you doing this, and you had to have a conversation with them. Recently, we have a new digital strategist who joined our team, the Speak Arizona team, and she asked me those same questions. And I thought we were going to talk strategy. I thought we were going to talk tactics, how many posts per day, which platforms, what style. And she was like, why are you doing this? What is your brand? And it took me a big step back. So I just want to emphasize that to our listeners. Sometimes it's worth having these conversations about you get caught up and you do things and you fall in love with Toastmasters or service or military. And taking the pause to have a conversation with a friend, asking you simple questions of why can be really meaningful. So I wanted to hit on that before I get back into one of the things you've said is the best leaders take care of their people. And part of what you said earlier in your service is you get to know them, you listen to their concerns. I just want to hear some of your experience on how you've created change by really standing beside the people that you work with instead of in front of them or on top of them as a bit commanding hierarchical leader.
So one of the I would say the life-changing makes it sound so huge, but it was a great experience for me when I was in the military. I was a captain working as a deputy commander. And the commander that had brought us in, he was responsible for keeping me in the military for longer than I wanted to be. That's a good thing. And he kept me in, and it was because I liked the way he worked. And so what I learned is, so we would come in, we were reservists, we would come in once a month, 2 weeks a year, usually more than that. We would come in and he would be waiting for all the young folks, people from all ages, from 50 down to 18. He would know every one of their names, if they had a significant other, who was dating, who was married, their kids' names. And he would ask questions like, how are things going with so-and-so? Hey, I know you were looking for a new job. Did you find one yet? You did? That's great. Oh, have you talked to so-and-so? He showed that he was listening to people and that he cared about them, not in a creepy way, because you know how that could go the wrong way, right? But he actually cared about that and people felt that. And when you feel that, what we found is that we were willing to do anything for this guy because he cared about us. He gave us what I learned, the most important thing that no one can buy or create, which is time. He gave us his time to learn about us. And so when it came time to pay him back and say, hey, I need you to do this thing over a weekend or at night, we just did it. There was no question you were going to do it for this guy because he showed that he truly cared about you. And that's something that I've tried to take into every job that I've done ever since, which is sit down with the people that you're working with and find out, just like we were talking about, what drives them? Why are you here? What do you hope to get out of this? And how can I help make that happen? That's been something that's been very important to me. When we were talking about the why before, I'm selfish. I'm selfish because helping you makes me feel good. I'm selfish because when I see you succeed, and I know I had a small part of that, it makes me feel good. So call me selfish, but that is why I serve, is because seeing you succeed, helping other people succeed. That makes me feel good.
That reminds me of the story of my dad. When I was young, this was pre-computers and all of that stuff. He used to work at a medical school, and he would get all the files, the pictures of every incoming student of the new year. So when they would all come for the welcome day or whatever, he would be able to greet each person by name. And as a kid, I would go to some of these like medical school conventions and just see my dad see all these people. This was before Zoom, before internet. Well, it was probably internet, but we didn't have it. And it was such a powerful memory for me. He would have these stacks of their files, exactly what you said, learning about them, understanding their applications, memorizing. We would test him. I would test my dad, like show him a picture, and then he would tell me their name. And it was such a important step in my leadership journey that you just reminded me of, that importance of getting to know your people, building that trust, because once they trust you, they'll follow you. And you've been in Toastmasters for 20 years. Why do you keep I was going to just why? No, why do you keep coming back?
That's a fair question. I try to ask other folks when they tell us, how long have you been in Toastmasters? Oh, and I think I spoke to Jill, so she had been in for 8 years. I said, it's a long time. She didn't ask me how long I've been in. I was like, you've been in for 8 years. That's a long time. And it's because I think you start because you're in it for yourself, and something wrong with that. You're in it for yourself. You're trying to make yourself a better speaker. Maybe you get to be a better leader. But again, you stay for many reasons. And you are asking me. Other people stay because they like the people, they like the stories, they like all kinds of other stuff. I like that too. But I stay because I see that every time I show up and I try to do what I was telling you before, how can I make this better? How can I improve things? That makes me feel good because you're helping. If you strip away all the other things that are going on in Toastmasters, you just focus on your interaction with another member that's trying to get ahead, that's trying to get up their confidence to do something that they don't think they can do. Wow, man. Like, how can you not want to continue to do that? There's a lot of frustration in the world, plenty of it at your job, wherever. But at least in Toastmasters, you have a shot at changing somebody's life. And that sounds very, oh, you can change somebody's life. No, really, you've all seen it. And if you haven't, focus in. You can see that you have an opportunity to change a life almost every time you show up. So that's why I'm still here, because I still have a small hand in changing thousands of lives.
Yes, you do. And that's one of the themes we're exploring in this podcast. In fact, in an upcoming episode, one of our editors, Matt Malin, talks about this transition of going to Toastmasters for himself and improving himself, and then transitioning and realizing his story that he was sharing was having impact. And the speech moved from competition to service. And for him, it happened so quickly. So I'm going to tease that episode. It's going to come out in a few weeks. But anyway, I so connect with that. And I think so many longtime Toastmasters too, as well. So why now for president? What is it about this moment that made you take those 20 years of Toastmasters experience and now you're going to lead the organization?
There's a lot of different reasons. There's no one reason. I've talked to folks that have said, I wanted to be president of Toastmasters my entire time. That wasn't me. I was always where I was at the moment. I don't plan that far. So it was an opportunity. It's an opportunity that presented itself as I was on the board. I had done a lot of things for the district. It was to move on as an international director. And then the opportunity presented itself to go to second vice president and then on from there. It's really the right situation presented itself to be able to do that. But also, I had been hearing from, and I don't know if you'd pick up on that, Rupesh, but I'm a little different. And then I try to be super approachable, super down to earth. Hey, let's go have a beer or not, or a cup of coffee or a tea, whatever you want.
Or the case maybe this morning.
Just saying. But that is something that I've spoke to, like, oh, we'd love to see that in leadership. Sometimes it seems so formal, so stuffy, and you're not. So I said, could you actually do that? I was like, I don't know. Let's find out. And something that one of our past leaders told me, she said, it's interesting if you believe in fate and other powers, but they're like, the organization always gets the international president that they need. Whereas I like to say the organization gets the international president they deserve. So I think that is it the right time for me, or did the right time choose me? Is this the right time for me? And I think that it is, because perhaps that's what helps the organization get to the next level, is somebody that's thinking at that level or on that concept.
Yeah. And I love at the beginning level of Toastmasters, we always say it's the place to make mistakes. It's the place to practice. And you just brought in, I maybe say it differently, it's the place to play. And it's now your opportunity, and the timing worked and all those things. So I'm really excited just getting to know you more, and this foundation of service and partnership with people, and then also play. So I'm excited to see where you go. I'm going to give you a hard question now.
Okay.
What do you think are the biggest challenges facing Toastmasters International right now?
Oh, the biggest challenges. One is the aging membership. Seems like every year that the average age of the members goes up. It sort of makes sense, but it shouldn't be that way. So the biggest challenge is, what are we doing or what are we not doing to attract a younger group of people? That's a big challenge. The second one is, I like to say, figuring out who we are as an organization. And that's out there, and that we need to figure that out as an organization. Are we an organization that is more, say, professional, catering to professionals that are looking to move up the corporate ladder and so on? Like, are they there for those here? Or are we there for people around the world that may not be of high means, not have a lot of cash on hand, but are looking to, as they say, pull themselves up by their own bootstraps and get ahead in the world? That's two very different things. And that's worked well for us for 100 years. But now we're getting to a point where, do we need to decide, can we still do both? So that's another one that I think we have is, do we cater to both? How do we figure out what our identity is as an organization? Because without knowing that, it's hard to chart the path forward. So there's a couple.
I appreciate you saying that so much. And I touched on this in the intro. The way people communicate, this different depends on the generation.
Yeah.
And it's changing dramatically. It's one of the reasons why I got involved in this podcast, because podcasts are changing elections. I mean, they are the way this new generation communicates. And it's not just listening. We have most of our viewers on YouTube on video, and communication is changing. There's podcasts, YouTube. We're learning about short form content, AI generated stuff, all these things. How is that reshaping the organization? And where do you see, given all this change, where do you see the organization going to try to adapt to some of that?
So that's it's looking to our members to help shape that. I think in the past, we've been very prescriptive about how we do things in Toastmasters. Say, well, when you give a speech, you're clearly giving it to your club in a location, in front of a group, maybe at a lectern, but none of this stuff is written down. This is all, I like to say, lore, or what do we, tribal knowledge, right? This is what we do. But with that not written down part, there is enormous room to change that. Could you do a speech and make it a podcast? Yeah, you can. Is someone going to stop you for saying, oh, that's not appropriate? No, not at all. So I think part of the change that needs to happen is the realization that world headquarters, that the board of directors will not prescribe how you communicate. We are necessarily, should be more agile than we are. What we have is this is the way we've always done it. But it's not written down. It's not that way. We are more flexible. We can be more flexible. So if you have another way that you want to do this, that was the beginning of virtual clubs. Is what? In the beginning, in the early days, the before days, virtual. The before times,
Zoom.
Yeah, pre-2020. But the before times, it was like virtual clubs. Why would you do that? And then we all had to quickly learn how to do that Great. And now we're past it and we're looking, oh, I don't know if this is the right thing to do. Well, yeah, it is one aspect of how we communicate is online. Another one is in person. Another one is doing an interview on video. And so I think folks have even, I don't know if that's still around, but there was even a virtual reality Toastmasters club out there where they had, what do we call there? Not emojis. Geez, well, then
The
exactly
avatars,
that. They had
the
avatars,
metaverse.
and they were doing exactly that. They were experimenting with that. Is this allowed? Is it not? So that is the ability for us to be more flexible, to try different things, to meet our members, our newer members where they are. I think our biggest barrier there is that that's how we always done it. Well, there's a lot of things that we're doing now that we've never done before. So I think that's the way forward on that one.
You just blew my mind because I've recorded 20 podcast episodes and I can get my team to evaluate me and I can get speech credit.
Why not?
Pathways. This is my Pathways plug for those who know Toastmasters. Pathways is Toastmasters. Toastmasters is Pathways.
You're practicing public speaking in something that means something to you. Yeah, as long as you get the feedback, right?
As long as I get the feedback. I would love to get your feedback after this. Maybe we'll record it for some B-roll.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to make an easy question now. Where is Toastmasters strong? Where is the organization just doing so well? And what are you excited about?
Thankfully, we still have members that are super dedicated to the cause. It's a core. It's not everybody, but there still have people that are really dedicated to the organization, people that give immense amounts of time and treasure to make sure that the organization runs well. And those are folks that's an enormous strength. We have a good program. I think we actually talk about that in one of my keynotes where I talk about we still we still offer something that just about everybody needs, and that is confidence. Everybody's looking for that. And we're selling it. And we also have the unique selling proposition. If you're one of those salesy type of people, nobody else is doing this in person. You can attend lots of stuff online and pay thousands, tens of thousands of dollars over a weekend or a week. You can do all that. Even where I work, Harvard has an executive program that talks about speaking. You do it remotely. And so Toastmasters, again, unique selling proposition, in person, face to face, as I'll do at a keynote here not long from now, roaming around the audience, saying hi to people. You can't do that anywhere else. We don't get the opportunity to do that, but you can do it in Toastmasters for, a sum total of $60 for 6 months. I mean, this is, nobody can touch that. And because we're volunteer led, volunteer driven, that's where I think is our strongest proposition.
That is so true. This whole team is volunteer. And it's just amazing how much we can accomplish. And it's so different it's different and the same in terms of leadership. I don't even know what the question I want to ask is. It's about how do you lead volunteers? I'm not paying you to be here. There's no incentive except maybe the warm fuzzy that you get that you've done something amazing, or the selfish, maybe earlier in your Toastmasters journey, the selfish, like I'm learning something or making myself better. But there's this concept of working for volunteer and leading volunteers that I just think I'm still working on this concept. I want to do a podcast on it, but I don't know. Any thoughts on that? Leading volunteers.
But we've already talked about some of them, and apparently you're doing some of them. You just don't realize, which is, you have a tougher time because you're not paying them, right? So what's there? So usually when people do stuff for you and you pay them, that is their incentives. You do this, I get paid. I use the money to go do something else. When you don't have that, what are you doing this for? So you'll have to spend some of that thing that you can't make more of time to sit down with people and say, so why are you here? And what do you hope to get out of it that is non-tangible? So I can make sure that we provide that. Is that going to be easy? No, but you have to try to do that. Why are you doing that? What can we give you in return? Understanding what drives them and giving them hey, this is going really well. We'd love to have you. Keep doing what you're doing, or could you change this because we need this because the organization wants to do that. It's a Toastmasters evaluation. But doing that over and over again but always keeping in mind what are their goals? How do they contribute? That doesn't mean that everyone's a perfect fit for you, right? Some people will not have, they won't buy into your vision or won't buy into what you're trying to do. I mean, that's how you pull people along. Should be an area director for that.
Been there, done that.
Or the vision director, but that's what you have to do is how do you get people to buy on when they have all the things that mean something to them? And it's not easy. But when you can pull it off, you get the warm fuzzies. And you're like, oh, that's amazing. Look at all the stuff that people did for free or for negative value. And you say it's for free in Toastmasters. I like to remind people, Toastmasters isn't free. You pay $60 every 6 months to do this job for free.
Sometimes I still wonder why my team shows up every day. And I'm like, edit this episode. I need to look shinier in this picture. But it's amazing. It's amazing. I want to ask you, and we've touched on elements of this, but what is your vision? You have 1 year to serve in this role. What is your vision for Toastmasters over this year?
You know how many times I've been asked that?
A lot,
What do you want to do in a year? Like, you know how fast that burns? You burn through a year?
Yes.
There's a lot of ideas that are very, what can we do at world headquarters? What can we do on the board of directors? But the realization is if you've been in the leadership role of anything, you realize that you are not all powerful unless unless you're a regent, king or something. You just can't get stuff done in that period of time. So what can you do? And a lot of it is the soft stuff. Is what can you do to influence this? What can you do to open people up to ideas? And that is mostly around say what you want about pathways and all the things that you think might be great or not so great about the organization. But the reality is all the magic takes place at the club. All of the good stuff that you want takes place regardless of what goes on outside the club. People show up at a club because they want confidence. Who provides it to them? We do. Do we need any sort of tools? Yes, we'll use pathways. We'll use a mentor program. But the idea that you can just show up and we'll help you. We'll help you get that speech done. We'll help you give that speech that you need to give for your parents' retirement, or if you want to speak at your place of worship, whatever it is, we help you get there. And that's what I'd like to focus on, is to remind our clubs. If I had a vision, it would be that every club understands just how much power they have to influence the people in their club. And when you influence those people, they go out into the world and do good. That is the core of our organization, not all the bureaucratic stuff that I get to see that I wish nobody else did, but the stuff that happens at the club, the camaraderie, the fun that they go out and maybe have chilaquiles or whatever it is, that they go out and they enjoy each other's company and they get comfortable enough to fail in front of each other and fail sometimes hard, but because they know each other, like, yeah, let's not do that again. All right. So we're going to do better next time. Got it. And we can do that. When you create that environment, that's what Toastmasters is all about. That's what made it successful for 100 years, that environment.
I want to be in that environment. I mean, I am in that environment, but I want to be in the world that you just described too. And I hope all the clubs do.
And that's my vision, is that everybody feels like they're in that world. Like, wow, this really is a great organization. That's how we make it happen.
Appreciate that. Stefano, before I go into our rapid fire questions, which don't need to be that rapid fire, anything else you want to share or anything else we didn't touch on that you want to bring into this conversation?
I think you pretty much hit on all the different corners of what I'm about and what we're trying to do. It's been, I've enjoyed the organization for a long time. I hope to continue doing things, helping at my district, helping in my club. That's what it's all about. And I'm looking forward to next year and seeing what I can do to inspire clubs to be all that they can be. That's an old
Army
tagline.
Yeah.
But yeah, be all you can be.
Nice. All right. So let's jump into the rapid fire. You ready?
Got it.
It don't have to be that rapid.
I'll try and play along.
What is something that has inspired you recently? It can be a book, an article, a podcast, TV show, quote. What is something that has inspired you recently?
Something that's inspired me recently. I guess it's been the idea that people have so much capacity to do good, that what inspires you is that people that I've talked to some folks that always assume positive intent. And that's sometimes, maybe you've all heard it before, but if you operate from that, that changes a lot. You say, well, I'm going to put my faith in you unless you let me down. And if you never let me down, then you have my 100% trust and faith. You operate from there, you're always in a good place. Like, oh yeah, they said they're going to do this, or hey, they said you have a nice shirt on today. I mean, it's the little things. My wife helped me with that. She's like, if somebody gives you a compliment, stuff, just say thank you. You don't have to think, why are they saying that? What are they trying to get from me? What's going on? No, just thank you.
It's not a chapter in the Game of Thrones.
That's right.
Not some political. It's so true. The brain is wired for negativity, for survival. That's just not the world we live in. And it's so true. It's easy to go to those places versus saying, this person has, I've been there too. I've been the negative kind of spiraler, but going for that positive intent.
That's it. That's been a big thing for me, is just always assume positive intent. Maybe they just like you, sure. Oh, okay.
Cool. And even if they don't, now that's what you're thinking.
That's right. Yes, right.
You feel good about it.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, speaking of the reverse of positive intent, what is your biggest public speaking pet peeve? Something you wish speakers would stop doing. Just saying it. It's a safe space. Mr. President.
The easy ones is the ums and the ahs that I blame Toastmasters for. I never noticed these things. And I think every listener that's a Toastmaster has encountered the same thing, which is before you could just listen to politicians and not worry about it. Now you count their ums and ahs and they grate on your nerves. It's Toastmasters' fault. We were trained to do this. And so I'd say that is the number one thing, followed quickly by when folks ask me, well, what's the one thing that I could do? They'll ask me, what's the one thing I could do to do well in my presentation? I'm like, one thing? One thing? I said, well, know your material. That would be the one thing. Look, if you think that this is a one thing there's a lot that goes into making this work well. But again, if I say one thing, it's just know and believe in your material. And the believe in is the key. Is if you believe in it, you'll do all right.
That's so true. The more effortless you look on stage, the more effortful that preparation and the testing of yourself and the practice and the rewriting and writing and rewriting. It's so true. People think, oh, easy. No, there's so much that goes behind the scenes. Good. Stefano, what was your last major public speaking gig and what did you learn from it?
My last major public speaking gig was just 2 weeks ago at a district in South Carolina. I was privileged to speak to their conference goers, and it was great. And what I learned is, I used the quote a little differently, but a quote from Gladiators, which is, are you not entertained? People love to be entertained. And if you've read what is Ralph Smedley says, we learn best in times of enjoyment. I leaned into that heavily. It's one of the most important things for when I speak is, are people entertained? And it's not that I'm trying to be a comedian or an entertainer, but that actually keeps you engaged and keeps you paying attention and give you the same information in a bunch of different ways. But if you're entertained and you laugh and you have a good time and you get the jokes, then you had a great time and it was worth it. So that would be that was my takeaways. They really seemed to enjoy it. And it reminded me, like, yes, I do need to keep this light and fun and always drop a joke in every couple minutes to keep people going.
Edutainment.
Yes.
That's what it's about. One of our previous guests, I don't know if he coined that term, but he brought it up. Edutainment.
Edutainment.
I'm adding a new twist to our rapid fire. So I'm adding a table topics question.
Ooh, all right.
Ready? So for those listeners who aren't Toastmasters, table topics is a question that people don't know and they have 1 minute to answer. We're not going to time you, but
try to play along.
There you go. Okay. What's one thing that you've achieved or accomplished that you initially thought was impossible?
How about this job?
I thought you might say that.
One of the things I like to tell folks often is that I never planned to get into this job. And secretly, you guys aren't supposed to pay attention to this. I tell my wife, she's like, you should never say that. I says, I did not plan to do this job, and I am in shock that I'm here. slightly in shock that I'm here because I still view myself as I'm a Toastmaster at Network Voice Toastmasters in Weymouth, Massachusetts. I'm the club treasurer. I help other people out. I make sure the dues get paid, and I tell people how much money we have in the account, and I give speeches. Wait, you're also the president of Toastmasters. Wait, whoa. That was never the plan. Never the plan. There's some lore in my history that there was a woman that was in my club years ago. I think she joined maybe 6 months after I did, so around 20 years ago. And she saw my first 2 speeches. She says, that guy's going to be president of Toastmasters. And I'm like, get out. You gotta get.
Are you still in touch with this?
Yes, I am. That's so cool. And I'm like, this is insane. Why would you say such a thing? Why would you say such a thing? So I think it's the most unbelievable and one of the things that I use as a weapon on other people is you can do this. You are good enough. You have the skills to get there. If I can do it, you can do it too. You're like, oh, this guy can never touch that guy. I never played that card. You can be me. And most people I tell, district directors, I say, just you like 5 years in the future. And their job drops. Okay, pretty much. I said, we have different experiences. You'll need to do some things, but this is all within your grasp. And that floors them. I said, I'm just you 2 years in the future, 5 years in the future. And that is how you bring people into the organization. And they don't say, I could never beat that guy. That's almost insulting. What I want you to say is, I can beat that guy. Now I got you.
Nice. You're living the miracle.
I know. Right?
You're a miracle.
You're seeing it.
And not prophecy.
I'm shocked. Yeah, I still bring her up.
What else does she know?
I know.
I'd like to meet her. Where am I going to be in 20 years? Last one. What is one piece of advice you'd give to a new public speaker?
Know your material.
I thought you might say that.
The biggest thing when people say, well, I'm very uncomfortable or I'm going to be very nervous. And I said, the biggest thing that you can do to overcome your nervousness, know your material. If you're talking about data that's in a database, know the data in the database. If you're talking about AI and its usage to crunch some numbers, show them examples, show that you know what you know. At the very least, why we have our icebreaker speeches for our first speakers and Toastmasters, no one can contest what you know about you. No one. So just get that out of your mind that someone's going to pop out of the audience and say, Rupesh, that's not true. You didn't do that when you were a kid. Excuse me? I know me. So that I think is the biggest thing right there is just know your material and be confident about it. And that will get rid of some of your nervousness.
Stefano, thank you so much for your time. It's such a pleasure. I am also living the miracle. I can't believe I'm interviewing the president-elect of Toastmasters International.
It's coming in threes, right?
Yeah. Who else?
Who else?
Yeah. What else is going on here? Thank you so much. If people want to hear your story, connect with you, learn more about your vision and your plans for Toastmasters, how can they reach out?
That's a good question. You can find my bio online at toastmasters.org if you look in the board of directors there, or they can find me. Let's see. Yeah, you can reach out to me at McGhee. That's SMCGHEE at toastmasters.org. I'll have that email address for quite some time. So yeah, reach out. Happy to chat.
Awesome. Thank you. We will put that in the show notes. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to hear more, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, we encourage you to Speak Arizona.